trying to think of his name. Give me the list.
Who was told no fog lights allowed on a DKP car?
Mark Thurber.
Mark Thurber, he was the T in fat. Fleming, Aronson, and Thurber.
Who had the nickname Ralph, and how did he get it? The giggle kills me.
Oh boy.
I know these are loaded questions. They probably shouldn't be answered. Okay, so I saw a video recently on like Facebook or something, and these guys stood in a line with kazoos, and they snapped a rubber band against the person in front of them, their calf. And if they didn't react, they got to go back to the line and not be snapped again. If they did react, it made kazoo noises. And it's hilarious because one starts making the kazoo noise, everybody starts laughing, all the kazoo noises are making. Where did we get kazoos?
I don't remember.
We did have.
But ask him, you already alluded to it. Who said what's with the boom boom?
That was the manager of the hotel.
The Pickwick Hotel.
He'd come in and say, what's with the boom boom? And we'd be
Playing
bouncing
Foursquare.
off the walls. And he was a German guy, so what's with the boom boom?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I
I was afraid
Just
to ask that
a
question.
short note is during this, at least during this time that I started, and most of the time, is the Vietnam crisis was going on, and a lot of our guys, Jim Holmes and myself, and a lot of guys had to go off to the service, and we, as far as I know, we only lost one member, Bob Moore. And unfortunately, when he left us, he went right straight to Vietnam, and within 3 days, he was gone. And there's a plaque in his honor over here in
Schley Museum.
the Schley Museum. There's a DKP glass case there, and his award is in there for being a member of the club.
Yeah, while not being the only Cowlook club, DKP is probably credited as being the oldest. When did the Deke start?
77.
Yeah.
In case everybody didn't hear, that's 77. We've got the peanut gallery. Sometimes you can't hear them when I listen back later. So DKK started and the Deeks started in 77.
Anybody have any questions while we're...
Yeah.
Well, and I also thought it'd be interesting to just kind of like, as you reflect on this, like Volkswagen's this culture, it brings people together in ways I never thought, right? And what do you value the most about your experiences here, and what's on the table, and what's on the table over there that we didn't set out? Like, there's so much here in history, and you're pretty pivotal in that with this club and this community. Like, what do you think back and say, like, these are moments that were like amazing? And you gave your top 3, right? Like your wife, very smart man, your club, and your time in Germany. What does that all like culminate to, like, your experience of what you're thankful for, or what you wouldn't change, or what maybe you would change?
Wow.
That's a loaded question.
I guess I would like to spend more time with the Panthers in the early days than having to go. I mean, I really enjoyed living in Europe for a couple of years, but
It was Frankfurt, right?
no, it was Wiesbaden.
Oh, Wiesbaden.
But I had to leave DKP too early. I missed out. I was on the good part, the free cow look, I guess, but I missed out on all the other part. My car, all I had was chrome rims, hubcaps, tinted windows, muffler. I had a polished velocity stack on my carburetor, and I had a blue Bosch coil.
Blue coil.
I mean, that's about all number one that I could afford, but we didn't know about 48 IDAs and all the other things that were going on in motors in the very first couple of years. So until this group took over and morphed things into a totally different.
We became a hot rod club.
Became a hot rod club.
Through the efforts of Don Crane and both his parents. My lovely Don Crane story is we'd be going out to buy parts, and his dad would go, here, give him a few $100, and his mom would stop him on the other side of the house going out, did you have any money? No. So she'd give him a couple $300, and we went and bought carburetors and went to Impy, and that's a whole nother story. But he's back, you know, he came back, and he's a full-fledged member of the club, and he has a little bit of a hot rod motor now.
Oh, man, that
The car
car
has
pulled
now.
up, and I was like, ooh, I hear Volkswagen, and then it went romp, 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 right before he turned off, and I was like, yeah.
Mr. Bunch still has what we ran for exhaust from back in the days, which was extremely loud. And if you're following Bunch in a caravan or going somewhere with him and he goes under the overpass with you, he never fails to signal that he's there, so.
Set off car alarms, huh?
Yeah.
Since I've had some health issues lately, my driver's over there, Tom.
Thanks, Tom, for being here today.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.
My pleasure.
He's having fun taking care of my little car because it goes out around the block once in a while. And sometimes my neighbors call and say, are you driving your car? I said, no, it's just like they can not only hear it, but they go,
Yeah, all around the block, even if you're on the other side.
Yeah.
I got busted a couple times.
Oh, yeah, he's gotten caught a couple times out there running around, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
well, back in the early days, we got tickets for too low in front. We got tickets for loud exhaust. We got tickets for no front license plates. Now that's all gone out the
our
window.
stickers would be, we started them in the wind wing. And the police would write us a ticket because it was blocking
Vision.
our view. So then it went back here to into the window, but right now mine are in the wind wing, the way it used to be. They would write us a ticket for anything.
Yeah.
We used to love to put little yellow bulbs for the running lights, and they didn't like the yellow bulb, so they write you a ticket for a yellow bulb.
We were being creative.
Hey, I've got a question from some guy, Dean Kirsten.
Oh, who, how do you say that? Dean what?
I think it's Kirsten. Whatever happened to the top 10 board?
Oh, whatever happened to
You
it.
mean the actual board?
I
That's a
believe
good
he's referring to the actual board.
Yeah, all we have is this photograph of it
It should be in here.
with my name misspelled. It's got 2 M's. There's nothing chocolatey about my last
Two
name. No
M&Ms,
mess. Oh well.
Good question.
At the time, I was numero quattro, below Greg, Don Crane, Mahaffey, and I built all 3 of their motors. So. My own fault.
And then I think it's SAM, Sam. So Greg, did you bring your bud from Germany?
Did I bring my bug?
He wants to know if you bought it.
I
from
did buy-
Germany,
oh, I'm
but
sorry.
You
Yes, you
didn't
did.
bring it back.
Yeah.
What happened to it?
What happened to it? Did you bring it back from Germany?
Since I bought it from Germany, they shipped it over on a boat, and I picked it
Right.
up,
Right.
and then when I broke the axle, I had to sell all the parts, and I sold it to a friend of Pam's. She was a police officer, and I've lost track of it, and I never really went to the trouble to try to find it. So I tried to buy one that was as close as I could get, especially in the color, and then make it the rest look like it.
There you go. Some of those I'm afraid to ask the question. I feel like this is just like this huge setup. Like, okay, who had the checkered bra? Oh, good Lord, it's the front of the car bra. Oh, I feel so much better.
This one's funny. Who never bought a cup of coffee when he went to coffee shops?
Brubaker.
Yeah, that's his nickname, Jim Brooks.
And Jim Brooks, and he would mix raspberry and grape jelly in his water so he could have a fruit drink rather than spending the money to buy a fruit drink.
Remember, we were young and cheap. Or he'd take ketchup and make himself a tomato juice.
Oh, I had a friend that, like, as he was going through college, it was McDonald's had like 25-cent hamburgers and 35-cent cheeseburgers on Wednesday. He'd go buy a couple of those, and then he would fill the rest of his to-go bag with ketchup, and he made soup out of it all along with the ketchup. Put himself through college.
Did you get this? Is that a show?
It's kind of small.
Well, this is a picture of the club and all their trophies.
Our club display at the Bug Inn.
At the Bug Inn with this
Purple cloth, or
purple
burgundy.
cloth, burgundy cloth, back in 70 something.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about concerning the way the status of VWs today and the club and other clubs?
Well, what do you wanna see? Like, what do you wanna see happen in the Volkswagen scene in the upcoming years? Like, what are we missing? What do we need to do?
Well, I wish the Panzers would do more, have more activities. But, you gotta remember, we were 18 to 21, 16 to 21. The second group were right in their 30s. This group is 40s and 50s and maybe even a little
And
bit
beyond.
more. They have families, they have careers, they have homes. It's a whole different thing. So we had nothing to do other than have 2 meetings a week and do activities and have fun because we were young punk kids. Now they're grown adults with families and everything, and so the whole physicality of the club has changed, and for that reason, they can't meet as often, and they can't. And the other unfortunate thing is some of these guys have such large engines, they don't want to drive long distances to go to different activities.
Some of us do.
Some do,
Except when I'm San Diego.
but some don't, and so it's a dichotomy with the problem of trying to get everybody together.
You know, one thing we talked a lot about is, in these meetings and these get-togethers, is how do we keep the sport alive? How do we keep the Volkswagen scene alive? And like, how do we invigorate some youth? Like, what are your thoughts on like, how do we get youth involved and feeling part of the scene and feeling all the things we did at 16 to 20 years old, right?
That's a hard thing for the youth because I have 2 other antique vehicles. I have a 1938 Lincoln and a 1957 Chevy Cameo truck. And I'm in the Lincoln Club, I'm in the Chevy Club, I'm in the Vintage Chevrolet Club, and I'm in the Volkswagen Club. And I'm in the Wood Carvers Club, I'm in the Mineral Club of Anaheim, I'm in the Woodworkers Club, I'm in the Wood Turners Club, and almost every club has a problem of getting young people in it. Mainly because of this thing.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do this.
The game.
Our generation, our fathers had abilities, woodworking, different things. In school, we had wood shop, metal shop, leather shop, auto shop, plastic shop. None of that's happening now, so the kids are tending toward electronics. And also, vehicles now and parts cost a lot of money. So to own an antique car, almost all my clubs that I'm at, we don't have any young people coming in because they can't afford to get in.
Priced out.
They just can't afford to get in. And Volkswagen is still very affordable, and yet it's not. You can't buy one of these things for under $30,000 easily, unless you buy a junker, and then you've got to buy all the stuff. So it's hard for a young person to get into it, and because of our economy right now is not doing so well. So it's difficult to get the young people. We have had 3 or 4 new members in the club, but they're certainly not new people. They're in their 40s and 50s. So we're
Wait,
still
50's not young anymore?
still we're not getting in people in the 20s and the 30s. They're just not coming around. That generation is not into this, and not only financially, but they're just so electronic minded with this computer thing, and it's difficult to get new people in. I mean, we have car shows, I have the Chevy Club has a barbecue picnic once a year, and we get new members. Again, they're mostly 40s and 50s. The young people just don't seem to be able to participate.
Well, and one of the reasons is, we're talking about a car that's sold for anywhere from $1,300 to about $1,700 when they're new. No, they're not the hot rods that we have now, but escalating costs for parts and anymore, it's like, it's expensive to
It
build a good. I wrote a column about, if you want a Cadillac Bug, go find one and give the guy the 30 grand or the 35 grand, because if I handed you that kind of money, you'd have to find a car to do it, and you'd have to do all the two, and you'd run out of money before it was done. So it's imperative that these cars get passed on to younger people, and I don't know what the solution is to that, but anyway, that's a time for another topic. I want to tell you that you are an icon in the club scene. You are. I know you shush it off, and you're going back to the European Bug-In this year, thanks to the fact that your son, Ryan, who's a grown man, is going to go along and be Tom for the time in Europe to help you get around and do it. And I think that's awesome.
Have you been?
The people in Europe, oh yeah, many times.
I've been 8 times, and my wife likes to bring heavy luggage.
Oh wait, I didn't know we were married, because I like to bring heavy luggage.
And a few years ago, I was better condition than I am now, and so we've decided I just can't schlep around these big 50-pounders. You've got to be 50, because anything over that.
49 pounders.
Yeah.
49.9
And
pounds.
she has to have many of them, and so
She always looks impeccable.
she does. It's worth it. So we asked Ryan to accompany us, and he'll be our man Friday, I guess you'd call him, to help us. He's going to drive and get the luggage and help us get around over there. And Mike has been kind enough to help get us a golf cart and some other things, so I can get around the.
That would be Mike Walravens, who's one of
This
the
will be
promoters.
my ninth trip to Europe.
I've only been
Well,
once.
that leads into a question in the chat. How many DKP members are coming to EBI?
9,
8.
8?
One's back. Fabian backed out.
Oh,
8 are coming, and this is going to be a very special DKP
Mhm.
organized European Bug-In. Every year they have it, which is every 2 years. They have some kind of a special theme, and this year is the cow look, and it includes DKP. The logo's even on their poster, which is the first for us and the first for them. And Russell Ritchie, a very good friend of ours in Scotland, is paying to have several of our club cars come from the United States over there, along with some that he has, and so there should be
the white car?
maybe
Yeah.
a dozen Cadillac cars that are DKP members' cars, one of which is the only original car left that's never been touched. Molman's.
Yeah, Arnie Mullins.
That's the one original car left from DKP first generation. It'll be there.
It's not a recreation or anything, it's
It's not
just the
been
original
repainted,
car.
it's nothing.
That's amazing.
But this, so there'll be eight of us members, and there'll be about a dozen cars, and it's gonna be pretty
So-
special.
So what's happening is they're all meeting in Wolfsburg. Just imagine the cool picture of the factory in the background with all the Cadillac cars. DFL is throwing a little meet and greet.
That's
on
a
that
German,
Monday.
that's a German club.
Yeah, and then they're gonna caravan across to Chimay. And they're gonna stop at Pat's and some of the things that happen on the way, so it's gonna be very cool. It's, Russell asked me if he could, have Sonny over there, and I'm such a big baby, I can't be without Sonny for 3 or 4 months, cause it's what it takes.
It's what it takes.
Yeah, it is, I just,
I mean, the baton car came in by the hair, like it just on the hair of my chinny chin chin, had European bug-in to get unloaded in time because it sat at the port.
Yeah, so there's always possibility of issues. Anyway, yes, I'm a big baby. I don't want to send my baby over there. But I will be in attendance, and as will be Mr. Bunch. So I'm warning the Europeans.
Here we come. Here we come.
Sasha wants to know how many DKP members are overseas.